when you're thinking about how to coach up those current agents, right? So let's say you got your numbers, you figured out you got 10, 12 from this one, 6 from this one, 5 from this one. Write out the most important parts of each of those partnerships to you. If I were you, once I had done that, I would also flip my phone around and do a video for them listing those out. I know that seems silly, but I want you to think about what kind of, if I was a real estate agent and I picked up my phone right now and I had a video from my loan officer I work with sometimes, and it said, "Hey, Kelly, Kelly, I just wanted to take a moment today to thank you so much for how we worked together in 2022. I know it was a crazy year, but I just want to let you know that when I'm sitting here and I'm thinking strategically about my year and I'm setting my goals, I was sitting here writing down all of the things that really make you one of the best realtors in this city. You know, you bring your heart to every transaction. You will always go the extra mile. I remember on the Johnson's house where you were rolling up your sleeves and vacuuming that carpet. I mean, that just tells me everything I need to know about your willingness to go the extra mile. You're always somebody who remembers things. I really appreciate that about you, et cetera, et cetera. Having a message from you that highlights everything that's good about them during a time where they're unsure, how wouldn't that change your relationship? Send them a book that you like, something that you are really focused on, something that really meant to you, something to you in 2022. Send that with an IOU to go to lunch in a month, talk about it. What tools do they need in order to build their business? It's astounding to me how many real estate agents don't have the simplest things, technology and the marketing that they need, because typically they're usually sole proprietors like you, and they have to rely upon their business, their company to build those things. If they need help, there's plenty of help to be had. And then ask to meet one-on-one about building your relationships quarterly, but make metrics for that. If you closed 10 last year, you want to close 20 this year. What are the metrics of that? Well, that's 5 a quarter. So how are you going to get to 5 for Q1? That's what you should be meeting about right now. Are these agents selling you? It's astounding to me that the relationship does not exist for most LOs and their realtors, where the agent is actually selling the customer on using them. There's all kinds of strange misnomers that go on in this world. When I first started in mortgage, I remember somebody told me that every realtor has to give 3 business cards to every customer when they ask for a loan officer. That's not only is that not true, it's never been true. It's not even remotely anywhere. But because it became sort of this thought process, that's what they started doing. So they don't have to do that. If the agent asks the customer, do you have financing? And they say, yeah, I'm all set. That shouldn't be the end of the conversation. They should really look at the person and say, that's awesome. I'm so glad you took that first step. I'd love to get your pre-approval from your bank. Would also like to ask you, if you're open to it, to have a conversation with another loan officer. It's always a good idea to kind of compare 2 loan estimates so that we know that you're getting the best deal. But also because I worked with your bank before, and there have been some challenges in closing, and I would just like to make sure that we've got our bases covered and that we've asked the right experts whether or not they can close us on time without any hassles. If you're not teaching your agents to have that conversation, then they're probably not having that conversation. And I know that we are, I would say overly cautious about the way that we approach sort of that conversation and the conversations that they have with their customers. But I would argue that this is not a time where you should be afraid to have conversations where you're giving people the best possible advice.